Alright, so here I am with a matchup against Handlock. However, during my mulligan process, I have no idea whether or not he's Handlock or Zoo, so I kinda hope he's Zoo and I keep Unstable Ghoul Acolyte of Pain. Also, if you hear some snoring in the background, that is my English bulldog named Boris, so I apologize for that. But yeah, I'm gonna come right out and say it in the beginning here. I feel like I make some poor decisions in this matchup. But the reason why I chose this specific Handlock recording to show in this video series is because the game is really good. Like I think he's winning by a lot, then I think I'm winning by a lot, then I think he's winning again. It's really back and forth. I made some mistakes. It's a little bit of an unconventional game. Like it's not your typical Handlock versus Warrior game, but it's pretty fun to watch in my opinion. So if I see a spot where I think that I should have played better, then I'll comment on it. And yeah, so let's just watch and see how it goes. So I go with Unstable Ghoul over Armoring Up because I don't currently have a Shield Slam in my hand, and if I just want to play Acolyte of Pain next turn to draw cards, because maybe I can draw into an Execute, and even if I do draw a Shield Slam, I can probably Shield Block, Armor Up, damage it with a minion already on the board, and go from there. As it is right now, my hand is pretty bad against Handlock. I don't have Shield Slam or Execute, which are really the cards you want to see. But let's see here. So Deathbite's not bad. It's pretty good damage. And yeah, just hit him for one. What I really like to do against Handlock is play Deathbite really early. And just set up for a Grommash Hellscream kill. But the danger with that is they could have Molten Giants, and then if you don't have Brawl or the proper removal, then you can just pretty much automatically lose the game to that. So you really have to be careful on how much damage you want to do to a Handlock, especially early on in the game. You generally don't want to put them into Molten Giant range unless you already have an answer in your hand, or if your hand is basically so bad that the only way to win is just hoping that they don't have it. Okay, so Twilight Drake, that's kind of annoying. I don't really have any ways to deal with it, so I have two options, basically. I can Deathbite and just hit him in the face, which is what I end up doing, or I could have coined out a Loatheb, but I don't really... I feel like I feel like I might need to use the coin to get an early Ragnaros or maybe an Alexstrasza later. Oh my god, my dog is snoring so loud right now. I apologize for that if you can hear him. So, he's got a full grip over there. He could definitely lay down a Mountain Giant right now. Twilight Drake is the ideal turn 4 play against a Warrior, by the way, because you want a Warrior to use his Execute or Shield Slam on a Twilight Drake, and then that way you can clear the... you kind of clear the way for a Mountain Giant. Okay, so he's really thinking. Sylvanas is actually pretty good in this matchup too, and especially since I just see that he played the Owl, now Sylvanas is even better. I'm surprised he didn't want to Owl my Acolyte, but I guess he's okay with giving me one card. And he's just playing a bunch of little dorks, basically. Ysera is not the greatest card against Handlock. It's kind of slow, but it's not bad. So I could Deathbite here. I could... It's really... I don't really get much value out of it. I might just Loatheb, or I could Sylvanas. I kind of like Sylvanas, actually, because he's already played an Owl, and I kill the Owl so that he can't, like... Yeah, I like this. So now, basically, this ensures that I steal a Twilight Drake if he doesn't have a different way to deal with Sylvanas. Because if I left the Owl alive, then he could, like, attack Twilight Drake and then attack Earthen Ring and give me a chance at sealing an Owl. But it looks like he's just going to ignore Sylvanas. I'm not... Oh, yes, I remember this turn. This is pretty cool. He Faithless my Sylvanas and Power Overwhelmings, and then just passes the turn so that he steals my Sylvanas. So that's a really good turn on his end there. Luckily I have Deathbite, so I can just finish off the Sylvanas and not really worry about it stealing anything good of mine. But I still have no way to deal with this Twilight Drake, and I have 2 Executes, 2 Shield Slams, and a Brawl still sitting in my deck. But I guess fair is fair because he hasn't played any Giants yet, so I can't really complain about not having Executor Shield Slam when he hasn't played any Giants. So basically, I just throw Sludge Belcher out there as a roadblock. There's really no need to Loatheb right now. Like if I play Loatheb, he could just drop a Giant and it's whatever. I don't have enough mana to play any of the other cards in my deck, and I don't want to just blindly shield block unless until I can find a Shield Slam. Okay, life tap. Alright, okay, what's he doing? Still hasn't found a Giant yet, maybe? Okay, he plays his own Loatheb. And finishes off my Sludge Belcher. Okay, so let's see here. I can play my Loatheb, which is actually it's actually my only possible option. Loatheb Armor Up, and I have a Shield Slam now to go with my Shield Block, which is going to be pretty nice. And then I can start dropping some big bombs here. But the first one's probably just going to get Siphon Souled, I'm assuming. Okay, Sludge Belcher. Kind of annoying. Okay, so he's got a pretty good board right now. My hand's really clunky. I don't really have lots of removal. So let's see. I need something good here. Armorsmith's not really ideal. I kind of make a mistake here, I think. Well, first thing I do is shield block to see what happens, see what I draw. And I get a Fiery War Axe. Then I attack, and I'm pretty sure at the end of this turn I have 2 mana left over. And I kind of, basically what I'm saying is if I played Armorsmith right now, at the beginning of the turn, or after my shield block, then I could have gained an armor off my Loatheb attacking his Sludge Belcher. But basically I'm too prideful to admit that I made a mistake at the time that I was playing this, so I just armor up instead. And then I can say that maybe I'm saving this Armorsmith for a brawl or something, which is kind of a valid point, but I think I should just play the Armorsmith. Although then his Drake just hits it for free, so I guess there's arguments to both, but I probably should just played it. Okay, so he finally found a Mountain Giant. It's a little late, but he baited out my Shield Slam. He's got some taunts. Oh, I remember this turn actually. So the safe play to do here is Cruel Taskmaster execute the Giant, but I just straight up execute the Drake and YOLO Rag here, and my calculated decision pays off, and I snipe the Giant. He gives me a Well Played, which is to be expected, and then I give him a nice greetings. So I think that he's probably just going to Siphon Soul this. I don't actually remember what happens here. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this yet, or if you probably can tell by now. I record all the videos, and then I do commentary afterwards. But you'll have to let me know what you prefer. I kind of like it this way because I get to really, I see some of the mistakes that I didn't see earlier on. It's a little easier to commentate, and this allows me to find, the best videos that I record and put them all at once. Okay, so Savannah Shield Slam, he takes my Rag. I can Fiery War Axe, and then Alex draws myself, which is, I think, what I end up doing. Yeah, it's really the only play. Kill it off, go to 2, then go back up to 15. So I'm in a pretty decent spot right now. I'm a little scared of Molten Giants, but I don't know if he's had the option to play one yet over something else. Okay, there's a Siphon Soul. That was kind of expected. But this could definitely clear the way of Ysera now. So against the old Handlock, a few seasons ago, I would not have done this because they played Leroy, Soulfires, Power Overwhelmings, Faceless, things like that. But I already saw a Power Overwhelming from this guy earlier when he used it on his Faceless Manipulator. When he Faceless Manipulated my Sylvanas, he used Power Overwhelming. And most of these decks don't play Leroy anymore, so I don't expect any burst damage coming out of him. Okay, he silences my Ysera, but a 4/12 is still pretty nice. And now I have Shield Block, Shield Slam. So let's take care of the Sludge Belcher here. Play the Armor Smith first this time, or I could play Cairn. Yeah, I like Cairn. He didn't have... That's the second Ironbeak Owl, and he already used a Siphon Soul, so Cairn is very likely not dying. And I have a lot of damage in my hand. +9 damage to whatever's on the board. So he could actually just very likely be dead next turn. I could Cruel Task my own guys and Nightmare 1 finish him off. It's really going to depend if he has Molten Giants and Taunt. I think he's used both Sludge Belchers. But yeah, this is not really a typical game of Handlock. Usually what happens is like Handlock plays Drake turn 4, which I think actually this guy did, but then Warrior executes it, then they play a Mountain Giant, and then the Warrior's like, oh crap, I better Shield Block, Shield Slam this, or Big Game Hunter it, and then if they don't have it, then Mountain Giant just wins the game. But let's assume the Warrior does have the removal, and then if the Warrior has good removal for like the first 2 threats, which ideally Handlock also wants, is the Twilight Drakes and Mountain Giants, then it's just kind of like a very controlling waiting game, where the Warrior tries to set up for a Grommash Hellscream kill. At some point you kind of want to bait your opponent into playing a couple Molten Giants by attacking them really low, and then you brawl. But this game was kind of weird. He didn't really play Giants until much later, but I didn't really have any removal, so it was kind of like it was just a weird game. And then the way I kill him here is like off a random Nightmare double Taskmaster. Like my Rag sniped his Giant. He Shadow Flamed a Sylvanas to steal my Rag. He Power Overwhelming a Faceless Manipulator to steal my Sylvanas. It was just overall a pretty cool, fun game. Not quite standard that you would see, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.